we have done good in terms of money as well. Right now we have I think more than $10 million in assets. Uh, but still, I think when it comes to the software industry, we are nothing. I think we are less than 0.1% of what we can be.
Me and Vishesh met a little over a year ago at the Entrepreneurship Club at UMass,
Hmm.
and we kind of bonded. I could just tell he had like a drive in him that not many other people had. So, but now he started TechRupt Innovations, which do you want to start off by telling people a little bit about what you guys are about, what kind of services you provide, and who's it really for?
Sure, sure, sure. So, we are TechRupt Innovations. We basically build out software solutions for startups and corporates. We started like a year back, and so far we have collaborated with more than 7 companies, and we are building out their entire tech stack. So we build front ends, back ends, apps, websites, SaaS, everything. So we build out software, and in return, instead of just charging cash, we have a cash plus equity model. So we take some sort of an equity in these startups, uh, which we work with. So yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, so that's good. You kind of like to grab the equity instead of just like charging cash upright. That
Hmm.
gives people a little bit more flexibility if they
Right.
want to be a part of your company. So I looked on your
Hmm.
website and I just looked at like the different services you guys offer and I saw something about Web3 and NFTs. You guys are kind of in that world a little
Hmm.
bit. Can you talk about are any of your partners right now or are you providing that service for them?
Sure. So we just started out with the NFT thing. So I see that Web3 can bring a lot of different kinds of opportunities. Right now, if you see the NFT market, it's only about selling different kinds of artwork, but I think it can be a lot more. I'll just give some few examples. I think NFTs can be a great way to crowdfund as well. So right now we are working with some founders. I'll just take an example for a couple of them. So we are helping a company in Philippines. They are called as VPI Cars. I think they have more than $1 million in revenue. We're helping them to crowdfund through NFTs. So they are breaking down their company into 300 NFTs, and each NFT holder that would buy the NFT would get a 0.25% profit of that company. So through that, and the NFT is approximately for about $2,000. So he's basically able to raise money and able to have a lot of shareholders for that, for his company, right? So companies that don't have that much resources to go public, they can choose to send out or bring out NFTs and crowdfund in this way. Another example is that we are using NFTs for a real estate project where we are breaking up a real estate into small parts and then selling out NFTs. For example, if you don't have money to buy out a house, you can buy an NFT and you can own 1/100th of that house. So it's also known as real estate tokenization that we are also entering in. So we basically are looking into NFTs as a way of utility and how we can unleash it to actually enable entrepreneurs to raise money, to do things, and not just artwork and apes and everything going around. So
I love that. I love that. That seems like it's definitely the future of
yeah,
business, right?
right, right,
Is there like an exchange that you're able to purchase those NFTs on, like people like me?
right. So NFTs are just they're just digital artwork, right? But they can be used for so many more things. It can be used as a digital medical record. So that's what drives us. That how can we use it for the good of humanity and do a lot more things with it that are not being done right now. And that's yeah.
Right. Okay. So I know they work kind of like you're buying a crypto on like a crypto exchange. So
Mhm.
how does one purchase an NFT for one of these companies?
So there are different types of ways. First of all, they can list out their entire collection on platforms like OpenSea and Binance. On the other end, what we are thinking is that we can have a dedicated landing page for these websites, for these companies, and one can directly go and buy from their website. And this NFT directly gets added to their wallet. And so, for example, if you're buying, let's say, the real estate NFT, right? So you would be getting a percentage of the rent earned by that property. So, for example, if a property gets $10,000 per month as rent, right, and you own one NFT, so you will be getting a percentage of that rent. So one can start investing into real estate, into companies, and a lot of new things through NFTs into sectors, right? So
Okay.
that's what we're looking into. Yeah.
Awesome. So I have heard a little bit about that where people are trying to bring that into the real estate
Yeah.
industry, which sounds very similar to a REIT, a real estate investment trust. Can you talk a little
True.
bit about the differences between why someone would want to invest in a real estate NFT rather than a REIT?
To be honest, there are not much differences. It's just that an NFT brings a lot of more advantages. For example, there is a benefit of royalty. So one can easily sell out the NFT to someone else, right? And it's very easy. You can just sell it on an exchange as well. So, for example, if I just bought an NFT for a house and the house just went up, the price of the house went up, so I can resell that NFT and the price of that NFT would also go up. So it makes it more convenient to buy and sell. At the same time, the it's very good for the creator as well, because the initial creator would also always have a royalty on the NFT. So, for example, if I created the NFT, I can keep a 5% royalty for every sell. So for every sell and for every resell, the original creator who actually created the NFT would get a percentage out of that. So which makes it far more appealing for real estate brokers and everyone to adopt NFTs. And yeah, and it's also very easy to just buy and sell, transact around it, keep it in your wallet. It's far more secure. It's on the blockchain. So yeah,
Right.
that's
There's no third party interest,
right.
right? Okay.
Right.
That's very interesting. So what made you really want to pursue this business while you were in school? What kind of made you want to pursue this business rather than um I don't know, like an e-commerce type style business? What made you want to pursue tech rubs?
Because I saw that there's more money in it. So, to be honest, and
I love that. I love that.
so and I always wanted to do something that's unique and different from what others are doing. In e-commerce, it was a game for, let's say, $10,000, $20,000, right? But right now we're into private equity and Web3, so this can go to a lot more heights that we imagine. Uh, it depends on how much efforts and things that we do, right? So that's why we are into it, and I honestly see a lot of more like there's a big opportunity to give back. For example, we are working with some of our startups. One of them is in edtech. They're trying to democratize education by bringing out through video games, right? So you can learn through video games, because video games are far more engaging and children are able to learn better. So things like that. It's called as Game Class. It'll be launching soon, I think, in a couple of months. So things like this really drive me on how we can use technology to bring out new methods of communicating, new methods of teaching, and everything. And if and our dream is definitely that if our products, all our products, if they can touch, let's say, a billion users, right? So that's what I live for.
Great. Yeah, no, I love that. Are you still attending the entrepreneurship club, or have you kind of distanced yourself now that you have all your time bound up by
uh,
this company?
I often go there, but not as much as I used to. I found Ben at the Entrepreneurship Club. He's my other co-founder. So I think we are pretty much covered up, just trying to do our thing. And nowadays, life has been so busy that
Right.
sometimes I have to skip my exams, classes, even meals. So so don't have much time for it. But yeah, sometimes I do go out and love to see the spirit over there. There's so many entrepreneurs doing different things, and yeah.
Awesome, man. Do you have any advice for people like yourself who are trying to balance running a company while also being a full time student like yourself? You said you had to sometimes skip classes, skip exams, but
Mhm.
what have you learned? What lessons have you learned that you think would help people who are trying to do similar things as you?
I think the biggest lesson I would say is that for someone who just wants to become an entrepreneur, is just start out, and that's the best piece of advice that I can give. I think step number one is always starting up, right? I've seen like to most of the entrepreneurs that I've talked around campus, or I've talked to college students, they talk about big stuff, that they want to do this, they want to do that, but nobody actually puts in the efforts and starts these things out. So I would say that starting up is the first step, and then you can continue it forward, right? And trust me, the biggest and the best thing that can happen to you is having your first paycheck. I remember my first paycheck was for around $5,000, where we had to develop a website, and I got so fucking excited. I was on top of the world, that wow, I can make money through this. Oh my god! So I think starting out is the first thing, and once you actually start seeing some results, it would drive you to do it further. But yes, talks don't bring in that much results, that much efforts too. So you should put in efforts and you should start things out, and can take you a lot forward. That's what I'll advise people. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, no, I love that. A lot of people definitely do a lot of talking, but that's kind of one of the reasons I wanted to get close to you. I could see it in you. You wanted to actually do what you were talking about
Exactly.
rather than,
Yeah.
be all talk. So, yeah, no, I have a lot of respect for you for that. Last time I spoke with you, you mentioned the idea of starting a company that involved detecting forest fires with drones.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't talked to you much about that since we had that conversation. Is that something that you're still working on pursuing, or have you kind of moved more into directing all of your resources to your company that you're running right now?
I think that's still one of our projects that we are focusing on. It's on how to prevent forest fires, and we have seen that happening a lot in Australia and in a lot of more countries as well. So we came up with a solution where we used drones and cameras to just detect forest fires, and deploy some sort of sensors and some sort of we prepared some robots that can be deployed in a forest that can tell the forest inspector that if there's something happening and something needs to be fixed. Uh, we aren't actively focusing on that project, though that's a solution that we have already built out and we are ready to deploy it, and we're in talks with some governments as well. But right now we are focusing more on our other platforms like Game Class, Lava, Closer Collab, where we are working on different types of tech stacks. So yeah.
Awesome. I want to talk to you a little bit about AI, artificial intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
What is your opinion on, or are you currently trying to implement AI into your company?
Definitely. So we are working on different kinds of AI projects. We are using AI on video games too, as I said, to teach, right, for game class. We're also using a lot of AI with one of our platforms called as Lovert. It's a dating app. So we are using AI as a new method or a new way on how to connect people based on their interests and send them out on dates. And we're also using AI with one of our platforms where we are building out an HR-based service solution. So I see a lot of different kinds of potential with AI. And you're working with a lot of platforms, and I think yesterday itself we were in talks with one of these companies. I cannot give out the exact details, but we have because we haven't cracked the deal yet. But they have a very cool idea on how to use AI in order to just help people search better and get better results, and also share a part of ad revenue back to the user. So there can be a lot of good possibilities with it, and we are actively working on it. But we this is something that we are also talking in the company on how we can increase working with AI and do a lot of cool things with it. So yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, no, I love that. The one of the reasons that I wanted to ask you about your opinion on that is because that's sort of a newfound interest of mine.
Right. Oh
I
wow.
got my associate's degree in business, and
Oh
right now I'm
nice.
taking a gap year, but
Hmm.
I've sort of entertained the idea of going back for my bachelor's degree in computer science and
Hmm.
artificial intelligence and machine learning. That's just kind of a new interest that I've kind of started exploring.
I think one of the biggest things that I think AI can revolutionize is healthcare. I see a lot of different things that can be done there. Uh, Everything from detection of different kinds of diseases to actually treating them, uh, especially in developing countries. Like for example, back in India, we have such a shortage of doctors. So AI can be a big pathway on how we can help detect eye diseases, cancers, and everything, and then we can treat them in far better ways, right? Especially where we don't have that many doctors, and healthcare can be made a lot more affordable using AI. So that's what interests me a lot, and probably something that I'll be doing in the future. Uh, but it requires a lot of capital and a lot of more things.
If somebody was deciding between computer science and another major, somebody who's entering college, maybe going to UMass, what's your opinion on studying computer science?
Just to clarify, I shifted from computer science to informatics, but it also comes under CICS. It's one of the same things. Informatics is more towards data science, and so it's data science versus computer science. It's similar things. Uh, for someone who's trying to study computer science, the advice I would have for him is that what we study at college, right? what we study, at least what we study at UMass, um, I don't see it getting applied anywhere when I see in the business sense, right? So, for example, at least in my business, we're making a lot of apps and a lot of different types of softwares. What we're studying in at the university is completely different, right? But it helps you build the logic that helps you a lot in computer science. So, if you're actually going out for computer science, if you want to study, it's a great major. You have to put in a lot of work, but additionally, I think you should also spend some time out of the college trying to learn new things and trying different softwares out, like developing apps, websites, and even if you can start learning how to use Figma and design tools and everything, right? So that's my advice. That just don't rely on college uh, to make you a good coder or help you build a good career. You have to go out and you have to learn a lot of things by yourself. And I think the best piece of advice would be only do computer science if you actually enjoy it. So because I see that sometimes I don't enjoy it myself, but a lot of people who do enjoy it, they do far better in computer science, right? So I think whatever you do, you have to really have fun doing it, so that it drives you forward. And yeah, and there can be so many different things that you can do with it.
Okay,
So
I completely agree with that. So definitely learn on your own time. Don't rely on college classes to teach you everything. I'm assuming you know how to
exactly.
code. What programming languages do you know?
So in my freshman year, I learned Python. I've also worked with JavaScript, and I've also learned a lot of design tools. I'm also understanding the backend. So a little bit of everything. I'm not good at any particular thing, but I can do a little bit of everything because
That's awesome.
that's
You
how I
got to be
work.
well rounded, right? Especially as an entrepreneur.
Yes, jack of all trades, I would say. So yeah.
Have you? I'm guessing you've taken some time outside of your college classes to learn these skills.
hmm yeah. So when I completed my grade 12, when I completed my high school, I spent about an year researching around startups, learning a little bit how to code and doing stuff. So yeah, I started back then, and it's still going on. So
Great. Awesome. I just learned how to program in R. If you're familiar with the programming language R,
wow,
I
yeah,
just
yeah, yeah.
took a class in data analytics, and that's a pretty interesting language
Mhm.
for statistics and data visualization.
It's used a lot in hedge funds as well. So I think companies that have the most money, they work on Python and R.
Python and R.
All the
Yeah.
hedge funds in New York.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting that you say that. I am currently learning the basics of Python. Um, just
hmm
because I told you I have this new interest in artificial intelligence and machine learning, and it kind of seems like Python's the way to go if you want to learn those skills. Um, have you heard of the platform called Coursera?
Yeah, yeah, I have.
Okay, awesome. So the founder of Coursera, his name is Andrew NG, I believe. Um,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
he offers this class on that platform in artificial intelligence and machine learning that I plan on taking after I learn the basics of Python. I kind of need a couple prerequisites first, so I'm just learning the basics right now. But I'm
That's
super
great.
excited because this just I remember back last year in Entrepreneurship Club, you and all your friends were talking about artificial intelligence and machine learning, and I had no idea what you guys were talking about. But now that I've done a little bit more research on it, it seems just so interesting to me, and I can't wait to learn more about it.
Wow, that's great. I think Coursera also offers a lot of different types of courses from Google and Stanford, so you can definitely look into them. And yeah, I think it's the right way to
Yeah,
go.
no, I completely agree. That's the platform that I learned R on. It was Google's data analytics certificate program. So I just finished up that. I'm actually working on my capstone project right now. Um, but that just taught me so many skills. It actually taught me a lot of the same skills that so I was an operations and information management major at UMass when I was there, and if I had stayed there, they would have taught me SQL, Tableau, R, those type of skills, spreadsheets, and this class that I took taught me those exact same skills, and I only had to pay $39 a month to learn them. You know what I mean? So to me, that was
That's
just
great. So it's far cheaper than
right. Yeah,
college.
that's exactly what was going through my head. The only downside, or one of the there's a lot of pros and cons, I guess, but um, one of the biggest downsides to not attending college to me is the networking and the connections that you make. So I don't get to meet new people
Hmm.
like yourself on a daily basis when I'm attending online classes. So
Right. I think one of the coolest ways for you to network is by inviting uh, people into your podcast, and you can make like you can meet a lot of new people. Because even in college, right? Though I get to meet a lot of new people and it's great, but I think you can meet far more people just by inviting to your podcast, learning new
we
things.
have
I mean, that can be a way.
I completely agree. That's one of the main reasons why I wanted to start it was networking. I've actually wanted to start it for a long time now. I had an experience a few months ago where I kind of realized that I have a passion for having deep and meaningful conversations with people. I don't really enjoy, surface level small talk with people. I like talking about the meaning
True.
of life, and that's a lot of people aren't as interested in that, but I tend to associate myself with people who like having deeper conversations that are more meaningful. So that was one of the main reasons I
Right.
wanted to start this. Um, and networking, yeah, I love meeting new people. So this was definitely a huge benefit of having this podcast, and I'm so happy that you were able to join me today. And if there's anything,
Glad to
yeah, of
do that.
course, if there's anything else you'd like to talk about, if you want to talk more about your company, if you think you missed anything that the viewers need to hear, I'd love to open the floor to you.
Uh, I think I would just say that I think it's about a year that we're in business. We have collaborated with more than 6 companies, uh, and we have done good in terms of money as well. Right now we have around I think more than $10 million in assets. Uh, but still, I think when it comes to the software industry, we are nothing. I think we are less than 0.1% of what we can be, and there's a huge way to go forward. So but yeah, I mean, if anyone wants to turn an entrepreneur or something, uh, I have a small piece of advice that if you're just doing it for the money, don't do it, because I think there are far easier ways to make money, because this one is actually tough. You have to spend all the time searching up, and one of the key things that I think an entrepreneur should focus on is spotting opportunities, because sometimes you spend time on a lot of different things, but they don't give out as good results. So if you're working on something, see if it's actually the right opportunity, or if it actually brings out some value. So talk to some real people if they would buy your product, and do a lot of customer discovery to see if this will actually work out, because imagine spending a year on something that ended up not working right. So I think spotting the right opportunity is step number one if you want to become an entrepreneur, and then starts the hustle and just keep on working, and you'll you'll reach there.
I love the honesty and the optimism as well. Big
Perfect.
things coming soon. Follow this man. Follow this man. Huge things coming soon. All right, it's been a pleasure talking to you. Thanks so much again for coming on today. Keep grinding in those classes, all right? Don't miss any of your
Yeah, for
exams.
sure.
Don't miss the exams. You need to go to those.